Destiny 2's player versus player can be a bit daunting to dive into for the first time. It's drastically different to playing the rest of the game, and there are many different tactics to learn and tricks to perfect. But to give you an edge over the competition, we've put together a list of tips to help you get to grips with the game and, more importantly, dominate your opponents.
Let them burn in your light.
One thing a lot of new players don't know about is that your energy weapon will actually deal more damage to enemies who are using their super than a normal kinetic weapon. You don't have to match elements like you do in PvE. Any energy or heavy weapon with elemental damage will hit harder and give you a better chance of surviving against an enemy using a super. Mobility is hugely important in Destiny 2, in particular strafing. Strafing is the habit of moving from side to side to throw off your enemy's aim. Standing still or just running directly at your foes is a death sentence. You need to make things as hard as possible for them. First of all, just find a good rhythm, let it become habit. As you become more accomplished, you can mix things up. Run 3 steps in one direction, switch for 1 step, and then switch back. Use cover to dip in and out, throwing crouches and slides, and even jumps if needed. Speaking of jumping, this is another thing that many new players won't know. Although Destiny 2 offers many different ways to get airborne, your accuracy will actually suffer severely when your feet aren't on the ground. Some weapons suffer from this worse than others, but for the most part, you're more accurate with both feet firmly planted on the ground. Also keep in mind that while you do have some directional control while in the air, you're still pretty much stuck travelling in the same direction, making you a predictable target. If there is one thing to take away from this video, it's my next tip, and that is to stick with your teammates. Destiny 2 has a fairly long time to kill, and this can make it challenging to win in situations where you're outnumbered. But you can use this to your advantage by sticking close to your team and focus firing the same targets. By working together, you can dispatch targets far quicker, flank the enemy, and control the flow of the battle more effectively, compared to running around as 4 lone wolves. Another very important thing to understand is how respawning works. Basically, when you die, the game will try to respawn you somewhere safe, often near allies who are not near any foes. The same thing happens to your enemies when you kill them, and by understanding this, you can predict where they're going to respawn. Essentially, when you kill 1 or 2 players, think about where the game will decide it's safe for them to respawn, and move into a position where you can jump them again or group up with your teammates to stop them from being overwhelmed. Following along this same line of thinking, let's talk about how respawning affects Control, one of the most popular game modes in Destiny 2. Control involves working with your team to capture any of the 3 specific areas of the map and then defend them. The more areas of the map you control, the more points you'll gain for killing the enemy. However, do not try to capture all 3 locations. It might seem like you're helping your team by doing so, but by capturing all 3 locations, you almost always flip the spawns. This means the enemy will start respawning near the least guarded of the 3 locations and inevitably take it. Instead, gain control of 2 of them and let the enemy come to you. Kills will be more valuable for your team, and the enemy will be predictable in where they're respawning, making it much easier to take them out. Power ammo spawns periodically throughout the game and can be located by following this purple marker. It's only acquired by the player who activates it and requires a short channeling time to do so. This means you can actually use power ammo as bait. Pick a good location and you can pick off enemies as they try to collect it. This can often get you a couple free kills while they're distracted. Also, keep this in mind if you're going to pick up some power ammo yourself. Check around for enemies quickly before you leave yourself exposed. It might seem cowardly to hide during a battle, but this is often the best tactic. Health recovery can be slow depending on your build, and if you enter a firefight with anything less than full health, you're at a massive disadvantage. Crouching will help to partially obscure you from the enemy's minimaps, while you let your hit points regenerate, and once back at 100%, you can go looking for your next victim. It's also important to be willing to dip out of teamfights if you're about to die. It's part of working with your team that you will let them finish off kills for you. Eliminations matter, not final hits. The user interface in Destiny 2 has been expanded and now provides you with a lot more information than it did in the first game. The section at the top will show you which allies and enemies are alive and dead, as well as who has their supercharged. This can help you prepare for what the enemy has to throw at you, and not run right into a gunslinger's flaming bullets. The lower left of course shows your cooldowns and ammo, but it also displays who has picked up power ammo and where, so you can make sure you don't take a rocket to the face, and it will also tell you when someone casts their super. And of course there is the minimap. Red markers on the outside indicate enemies at a long distance, on the inside means they're close, and right in the middle means they're right on top of you. Also, bright red means they're at the same elevation as you, while a more faded red means they're above or below. If the marker is blinking on and off, it means they're crouching. You can also see this notification for which area of the map you're in. Learning the names of the different areas can help you to call out things to your teammates over voice chat. I really do hope that these tips will help to give you an edge as you enter Destiny 2's Crucible, but if you have any tips of your own, be sure to leave them in the comments below to help out your fellow Guardians and possibly your future teammates. As always, this is James for Curse, saying thanks for watching, and enjoy the game.